This is Christian Gomez for the New American Magazine, and joining us today here in the program to discuss the results of the New York City mayor's election is Stefano Forte, the president of the New York Young Republican Club. Stefano, thank you so much for joining us today here at the New American again.
Always great to be here at the New American. Thank you for having me on, Christian.
Absolutely. So it was about 2 weeks ago when we last had you on the program, which was about a week before the election. Now it's a week after the election. So I'll start up by asking you, what do you think about the results and Mayor-elect Mamdani?
The results have been bad for the Republican Party. It calls into question quite a lot. But, Mayor Mamdani, he's coming through on his promises. The buses are fast and free. I don't get to keep any money out of my paycheck, and the streets are just riddled with drug addicts and people that are trying to stab you in the face. But you know what? At least we're experiencing real socialism for the first time. New York City is truly the land of opportunity for someone like Zohran Mamdani. But in all seriousness, these are not the results that we wanted. The Republican candidate was trounced. Many on the Republican side felt that they needed to go to Andrew Cuomo in order to get some relief. But even if you add up Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa's results, Mayor Mamdani would still have 50% of the vote and a majority of New Yorkers. So a majority of New Yorkers voted for a jihadist communist. They voted for somebody who is thoroughly anti-American. And this was not just New York. This was a nationwide thing. We need to understand what brought our country to this point and why. And I think it is ultimately the question of affordability and the question of the future of this nation being young people and why they are so attracted to socialism.
Well, it was back on September 11, 2001, and when the trade centers were hit there in Manhattan, and the country said, we will never forget. So how did we get here, Stefano? How did we get to electing a person who has ties, or at least took a photo with someone who was a non-convicted individual connected with the 1993 Trade Center bombing, is now going to be the mayor come January 1st. What's changed in New York over the last 20 years to allow this kind of individual to be elected to Gracie Mansion?
Native New Yorkers have not forgotten 9/11, but unfortunately, our city has seen an influx of illegal and legal people coming into the country. The illegal portion of it has been spoken about ad nauseum, so I think we can discuss the legal immigration aspect of this. And the bottom line is that the legal immigrants that are coming into this country do not share the same values that this country was founded on, and they did not live through 9/11. They did not see the horrors of 9/11. 9/11 was my first day of school. It is a very formative part of my childhood and how I was raised and how I grew up, and it was the formative part of many children here in New York. But unfortunately, we've seen an influx of foreigners who do not share the love for the founding of this nation or love for this nation in general. So they had nothing to remember, and they've decided to elect Zohran Mamdani. But when the stomach is hungry, the mind will eat anything. When people feel like they don't have a future in this city, and somebody comes out and says, I'm going to have fast and free buses, it's going to be affordable again, I'm going to freeze your rent, and I'm going to do it all right now. It's the politics of instant gratification. And unfortunately, people have been sold the bill of goods that Zohran Mamdani will not be able to cash in.
So do you think that Mamdani will be able to make good on any of his promises? We saw that on Monday, Governor Kathy Hochul, was asked about Mamdani's proposal to have free bus fare and free public transit, to which she said, I cannot set forth a plan right now that takes money out of a system that relies on the fares of the buses and the subways. What do you think about her response that she doesn't see how that's possible?
Well, I see you're getting a primary. I see Zohran Mamdani getting the legions of Democratic Socialists out and ready to attack. And look, Kathy is over a barrel, unfortunately. She has to comply with a lot of the things that Zohran is asking for. He holds the cards. He's here for the next 4 years. She has an election next year. So she is going to have to comply with what he wants. Will he be able to do this? I really don't know. I don't know how much he's going to be able to govern effectively. He does look like he's putting together a team of progressives who understand city governance. So he may be able to get some of the things he wants done. But unfortunately, I think the easiest things for him will be the matters of public safety. And police officers are going to be disenfranchised and not going to be able to do their jobs, and people are going to suffer for it. Uh, that's not something he necessarily needs to even govern to do. His mere presence as mayor of this city, when cops see that he does not have their back, they're going to think twice before getting involved in things that are iffy. They're going to think twice before taking somebody in, before arresting somebody, before pulling somebody over.
And that's to say nothing of even using force if necessary. You'll probably see less willingness to engage a criminal with a firearm, just because of the repercussion that could come if it's not if the story doesn't fit the narrative perfectly, so to speak. But should New Yorkers abandon the city? There's a lot of headlines out there, Daily Mail, New York Post, saying that New Yorkers are going to leave. 800 to 900,000 of them are going to leave the city. Is that really the solution? Should New Yorkers just abandon the city to Marxism, or should New Yorkers stay and fight and organize to elect someone who has a better chance at defeating Mamdani in the next 4 years? And like you mentioned, there's a governor's race next year. So if New Yorkers abandon the city, are they just handing over Albany to 4 more years of Hochul?
It's a great question, and Republicans innately, I believe, in their heart, they really just want to be left alone. They just want people to leave them alone. They want the government to leave them alone. Let us do what we want to do. Don't take money out of our pockets. Don't legislate yourself into our life. Just leave us alone. I have a message for a lot of those Republicans. They are never going to leave you alone. It doesn't matter where you go. You could go to Wyoming. You can go to Texas. You can go to Florida. One way or another, when they take power again, they will find you and they will legislate their way into your life and into your pocket. We need to fight. We need to fight here and now. I don't blame these New Yorkers that are thinking about leaving, but unfortunately, the New Yorkers that are going to leave are the ones that have the means to, those that are on that upper echelon, that are making more money, that are in a different tax bracket. Unfortunately, the middle class and the working class are not going to be able to just get up and go. They have a life here. They have people here. And also, we are New Yorkers. We live here. We built this city that now so many who are quote unquote coming here for a better life are now electing socialists that are going to make the same conditions that they fled from. As New Yorkers, as native New Yorkers, we need to stay here and we need to fight for our city. We do have a gubernatorial race coming up. What I would say is one more year. Let's draw the line in the sand, say we fight here and now, and say no to socialism once and for all. The Republican Party needs to fight back. And the only way that we could do that is electing a Republican next year.
Now, you mentioned that the Republican candidate for mayor, Curtis Sliwa, was trounced in the election last week. He only got 7.1% of the vote, just under 147,000 votes. Like you mentioned, a lot of Republicans ended up voting for Andrew Cuomo, and combined, that wouldn't have overcome Mamdani's victory.
No.
However, is there something that could be learned from this mayor's race come the governor's election, the gubernatorial race next year? What can Republicans and conservatives learn as a whole to avoid this kind of trouncing next year when Albany is up for grabs?
There's two answers to that question. I think the first one, is policy. In terms of policy, we need to set out a bold affordability plan for New Yorkers and talk to them about how we're going to keep more money in their pocket. While the left wants to hand things away, wants to get deeper into someone's pocket, we're going to be pulling out of their pocket and saying, look, we want you to keep more of your money. We want you to keep more of your paycheck. We should be talking about how we're going to implement pro-natalist policies that will help people have children. I believe personally that when it comes to the debt that our young people have accrued due to student loans, these are loans that were taken under duress. When you have people that are going into college and they're telling you, well, if you don't go to college, you're never going to get a job. You're never going to be somebody. You know, you got to take out this loan, and it's an unforgivable loan. You can't bankrupt yourself out of it. Nobody would take that deal if they were in their right mind. Nobody. We need to be talking about a plan to help getting them out of this debt. We need to be talking about a plan to help them buy a home, first-time home buyer loans. We need to be talking about forgivable loans that will be able to help young people. We should be taking lessons from Hungary. They're doing a great job with younger people and promoting having children and buying a home. So that's one aspect of this. We need to be talking about affordability. We cannot allow the left to own this issue. We need to take it back. The next part of this is Republicans love to get into fights about nothing. About nothing. We beef with each other about nothing. We fight over crumbs here in New York. There are so many beefs. We need to bury the hatchet. We need to move forward as a united party. Find the candidate that we're going to support. Get behind that candidate and move forward in unison, right? There'll be time to fight when this election is through, but the barbarians are at the gates, and we either stand together or we will all die apart. So these petty beefs, these feuds, put them to bed, put them aside. Let's move together as a party and let's win the governor's mansion. And then we could be like the Hatfields and the McCoys, and we could start battling it out about everything. But for now, let's come together. Let's be a united Republican Party around our united Republican candidate and move forward and win.
Is the New York Young Republican Club going to be hosting discussions or forums or debates with the potential Republican candidates for governor? I know that Elise Stefanik, Congresswoman who represents the congressional district way up north around the Ticonderoga region of New York, that she's already announced that she's running for governor, and I think some other candidates have put their names in the hat as well. So what will the New York Young Republican Club be doing to, one, help these candidates get their message out there, to get them known, and also to help elect a Republican or conservative governor who could stop the tide of socialism? Because should Kathy Hochul or some other Democrat win the election, they may be more likely to assist Mamdani. I'm sure that Hochul is probably thinking, the election's coming up. I don't want to sound too radical, but at the same time, she has to sound a little radical, so she's in a tough spot. But after the election, should she win, she wouldn't have. She's not going to have to worry about that, right? So the gloves will probably come off then, regardless of what she says now as a candidate for re-election. So back to my question: what will the NYYRC do to help Albany escape the clutches of socialism?
The New York Young Republican Club is going to do everything it can. The campaigns committee of the New York Young Republican is bar none the only game in town, really. And I got to give it to our campaign's chairman, Mario Nicoletto, who does a fantastic job, and so many others on the committee. All of them have truly done a great job in getting our message out there, helping our candidates. It was a rough year this year, but we still managed to mobilize 2 bus deployments, 100 people, getting out there, knocking on doors, tens of thousands of doors knocked. I'm sure we're going to put out a postmortem and talk about how many doors we knocked on and primaries that we got involved in where our candidates came out victorious. In every primary that we endorsed in this year, our candidates came out on top, a 100% primary win rate. So that's a fantastic statistic. But we're going to do everything we can as the New York Young Republican Club to host candidates that are running for governor. We want to get involved and we want to help. We would love to coalesce around one candidate and move forward. But if there are multiple candidates in the primary, sure, we'd be open to hosting debates. We'd be open to hosting open forums so our membership can see which candidate will advocate for younger issues. But we're going to do everything we can to help in this campaign cycle.
Now you have the gala coming up in December 13th. Is Congresswoman Stefanik one of the speakers? Maybe not, but I'm wondering if she'll be making some appearances. Maybe not at that event, but at other events that the NYYRC has got planned. Or maybe
Right
it's too
now,
early
we
to
have.
say. I don't know.
I think it might be a little bit too early to say. We'd love to have her. We'd absolutely love to host her and love to have her. New Yorkers are, I believe, many of them are coalescing around her. Many of them like what she has to say, and she's been a great voice in Congress for New Yorkers. So yeah, we'd absolutely love to host her, and we'd love to have her. And I'm sure if she's the nominee or if she wants our support, we'd love to have a conversation with her and speak with her about it because we have to unite and we have to take on Kathy Hochul and win.
And if Kathy Hochul hypothetically does win the election, what then?
It's a great question. It's the same answer as what if Mamdani wins, which he has. It's a nightmare scenario. The governor can fire a mayor according to New York state law. So theoretically, um, Elise Stefanik, if she is the governor of the state, could fire Zohran Mamdani, which would be a huge win for us. But if Kathy Hochul wins, it's the same thing that we've always done. Move forward, mobilize, get ready for the next election, take it on the chin and move forward. We need a Republican Party here in New York that is going to really fight, that is going to put up a fight, not just make deals with Democrats, not to say that they have, but to say we can do better in sourcing candidates, sourcing campaigns for them. And we don't need just more candidates. We need more political operatives who are going to go out there and know how to win campaigns. That's why the New York Young Republican Club, and this could be an exclusive for the New American, we are putting together a campaign school to have candidates and operatives come into our clubhouse and learn from some of the best of the best.
And when is that school going to be in operation, or maybe it's already in operation?
Things are in motion. Things are moving rather quickly. We have some of our best minds on it here in the New York Young Republican Club. I would predict probably in the new year we will have this thing up and running post gala, and we will be sourcing our candidates.
So just in time for the primary season for the governor's race and a whole other slew of races, because next it's not just the governor's race next year. The New York Assembly and New York State Senate are up for grabs, and I'm sure that you'll be working just as hard to make sure that the New York can have at least one, if not both, hopefully, right, of the chambers be more in the hands of constitutional-leaning conservatives versus what we have had for the last few decades in the state.
Not a lot of people know this, but the state Senate used to be Republican for quite some time. We can have that again. We can have a competitive Republican Party. We can find candidates that want to run as Republicans and legislate as good constitutional Republicans. We can do all these things. As New York Republicans, we are allowed to have nice things. So I believe that it's just a matter of putting in the work. We want to join in with as many people as we can. And it's not just about joining up with people that like you or agree with you on everything, right? We don't have to like each other as long as we can work together for the common goal. Once we have some things that we can lose, then we can go and fight about it, right? But now is the time about coalescing. Now is the time to come together as a party to move forward in lockstep. So yeah, this campaign school is going to be very exciting. We have a ton of state legislature races that we're going to be getting involved in. We have some that we're zeroing in on, and we know we can have pickups. And this next campaign cycle is probably going to be the most important in the club's history, next to the presidential race in 2024. This will probably be our most important race.
Okay, so final question. What is your last word for disenfranchised voters who maybe they voted for Sliwa, maybe they voted for Cuomo, just hoping they could stop Mamdani, but obviously things didn't turn out the way for them, and they're not sure if they want to be engaged. They might feel like, I was engaged and it didn't work out. What is your message to those New Yorkers who are thinking about throwing in the towel?
What I'll say to those that are thinking about throwing in the towel, and I want to broaden this a little bit, not just to Sliwa voters, not just to Cuomo voters, but to Mamdani voters as well. What I would like to say to them is we have not yet begun to fight. We still have fight in our hearts. We still have fight in our bellies. This is your country. This is your state. This is your city. Do not hand it over to the mob so easily. We can come together and we can win this. If you felt like you got involved by just casting your vote, then cast your vote, but knock on some doors next time. Make some phone calls for your candidates next time. If you want to be in a position where you can make a real and tangible change, if you have a skill set that you would like to leverage to help our candidates, go on our website, www.nyyrc.com. Go on our contact page, become a member, say that you want to go and you want to knock on doors with the campaigns committee, and we'll do everything we can to get you out there and enfranchise you even further. We are the party of affordability. We are the party of the next generation. We are the party of a strong education and safety. If we can get this message out there, if we have the means of getting this message out there, I believe New York voters, not just Republicans, Democrats, independents, everybody will come out and vote for our gubernatorial candidate.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Stefano. We wish you the best with the school and with the gala coming up, so take care. God bless you. And remember, like he just said, visit www.nyyrc.com, right? .com?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in your tux.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, and check out our videos at thenewamerican.com. You can also find The New American on X, Facebook, Instagram, and a whole other slew of social media platforms. Thank you, Stefano. Take care, and God bless. Do you know how your U.S. representative and U.S. senators are voting? Or how about your state legislators? Well, you can find out on thenewamerican.com using the Freedom Index. That's where we keep track of how every member of Congress in the House and the Senate and every legislator of all 50 state legislatures vote on key issues. You can find this out on thenewamerican.com/Freedom Index or on thefreedomindex.org.